Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a new video. It is I, Shock Tornado, and today I am here to welcome you into something new, a Brawl Theory. Yeah, it turns out that this little game that we all play for fun, I hope, actually has kind of a big lore behind it. Every character has a story, and every story builds pieces, and every pieces fits together. Now, very recently, today actually, Red Raptor came out, and I just read the story. And something interesting about it is that apparently a certain Loki, that most of you might know, but I will go into details about that later. A certain Loki is the origin of the Dark Earth monsters that apparently killed the friends of Red Raptor, and that forced Red Raptor to die in combat too. Now, Dark Art is nothing new. We've seen it before on very noticeable characters like Petra. There has been several weapons based on the Dark Art, and in general, few characters have a Dark Art skin because it is a material that is canon in the Brawlhalla universe. What is the Dark Art, you may ask? Well, it's very simple. The Dark Art is a corrupting material. People that come into contact with it get corrupted, and this corruption makes them irritable, dangerous, and also very powerful. We can see it in the Zariel skin, in the Artemis skin, or in Petra. Now, why am I talking about this? Because this so said Loki is a character that has been only ever mentioned in Brawlhalla lore, which is stories throughout the different characters, ways and stories and such. So it's a character that we know of, but that isn't in the game. For example, Fate was mentioned before as being part of a band with Ylgrim, Ada, and Isaiah. She was mentioned before, and she became a character. However, this Loki has been mentioned for a lot of time. He's been known as being a character for a long time, but we still haven't seen him. Now, what if I told you that Loki is actually in the game, and he's been for a very long time? Now that's as theory to go. Several things you must know about Loki is that he's a deceiver. But that is not the very connection that we're gonna look for. Because if you think deceiver, you're probably gonna think Caspian or something like that. That has nothing to do with him. Another trait of Loki is that the main color that is associated with him is yellow. Now, for some of you that have been Brawler players for a little while, you know that there was a meme going around about a certain character in yellow, which most of you know and hate, I guess, because apparently not much of people like Orion. Some people like him, some people don't, but he's a character that is very popular nonetheless. He has a very good play rate, he's very known, and in general, a well-beloved character, I think. Now, my theory is that Orion is Loki. Now, before you call me a madman and call the authorities to take me into a madhouse, listen. One of the many hints that would make me think that are, first of all, notice the horns on Orion. Curved horns on the front of his helm. Who else has curved horns on the front of his helm? Yeah, Loki. That's a good answer. Now, let's see. If he is indeed at the origin of the Dark Art, we could think that his body would have been affected by it in some way. Now, we don't see Orion's body. He's one of the few characters that we don't see even a little fraction of his body. Another character that would fit into this category is Artemis, but there is not much saying despite that I absolutely despise that character. But yeah, Orion is one of the few characters of whom we don't see any parts of the body. So it could very well be some kind of dark earth abomination under it. And now you might say, but that's a bit far-fetched. Why would you say that? Well, I have a few reasons to say that. Dark art in the Brawlhalla lore is a very dangerous material. It is known, it is well known by different gods and such, and they all know that it is dangerous. So it is kept contained in Terminus, which is where Petra can come from. And she managed to break out of Terminus because of the dark art. Now, to come back to our little folk, right there. Dark art being this some kind of material that people fear, this would explain why so many people seem to want Orion to not take his armor off. That is the case for Ulgrim, because as precise in Ulgrim lore, but he always keeps a glimmering eye on Orion stays low. Some say out of pride, others say it's a concern for what will happen if the armor were ever to fail. Now, what if the armor did fail? Well, let me tell you. If Orion was indeed Loki and some kind of dark-haired monster, he would be shunned. People wouldn't like him. Like, just look at Petra. Lot of people are not okay with her being this dark-haired fusion thing. Some people don't like it. And now, that brings us to another point. If you look at the first thing, Brynn has gone too far this time. She pulled this Petra out of Terminus. We cannot allow anyone from that dimension sink or near Vala, especially not a troublemaker like her. Now, it's Heimdall to Odin. Heimdall being another god on the Nordic pantheon. Now you might think to say, well, yeah, that's just a little conversation. Now, what if I told you that in Nordic mythology, Heimdall is supposed to be the one that fights Loki. One of the things that is interesting is that he's concerned here about Petra. Heimdall being mentioned here tethers some kind of connection between him and the Dark Art. And if Orion is indeed Loki, and is indeed a Dark Art monster, then that would explain why they do not want him to be shown. Because Heimdall does not know who Orion is. One of the reasons why Ragnarok hits and Ragnarok happens is because, well, Loki fights Heimdall. And that would be enough of a reason for many people to not want Heimdall to see what Orion really is. Now, Ragnarok is feared by all. Ragnarok is the end of time, as thought by the Vikings and the Nordic people. So yeah, that would be enough of a reason to never want Orion to show his face, because that would mean Ragnarok. So he may be the key to everything. Now, all of this is really just a theory. We don't know, there is not much to say about it, that's just a thought I had. But like, one of the things that are interesting also, Teska, right here. You can read, Orion even challenged him to a masks match, where the loser would be unmasked. Odin quickly intervened. Orion probably doesn't know the consequences of what would happen if he showed his face. And Odin intervening in this way, because Odin is known in Nordic mythology to adopt Loki, which is like some kind of frozen giant or something, but that is not the point we're getting at here. The thing is, Odin intervened, and Odin is also the one that recovered Orion. That kinds of fits in the timeline of things. Orion being saved by Odin, Loki being adopted by Odin. That is kind of a similar situation, and that also pushes my point of Orion perhaps being Loki. So yeah, that's it. That's the theory. And if you guys want to contribute to it, such your little details, tell me things I missed, do feel free to do so in the comment section. I will gladly debate with you and I will gladly listen, because I think if Orion reveals himself to indeed be Loki, that would be a very good twist, and I like a good twist. Anyway guys, I hope you liked the video, and on that I will tell you good day, Shock Tornado.